also introduce myself. I'm Christelle Zese. I'm a senior lecturer of inorganic chemistry at the School of Chemical Engineering and Mineral Industries at the University of Ngaoundere. And I work in the field, I'm also a coordination chemist, a material chemist, and I work in the field of, I work specifically metal organic frameworks, which are a kind of porous materials, which I currently use as drug delivery systems to be used for cancer therapy. And I'm also interested to use these compounds in the area of water treatment and in the environment, where I use them specifically to absorb carbon dioxide, which we all know is a greenhouse effect gas. And in the environment, where I use them specifically to absorb carbon dioxide, which we all know is a greenhouse effect gas. So thank you very much for coming, and it's our pleasure to have you in our midst. So let's move to our business today. And the first question I'm about to ask to our dear panelists is what really motivated you to embrace a career in science? So let's give the floor to our dear President, Dr. Justine Jemo. You have the floor. No.
What I can say is that from the beginning, I have been always attracted by science. And when I look in the past, I see my motivation was more clear when I was in the secondary school. I had very good marks in mathematics, but I have a kind of affinity with biology. It was a little more stronger, maybe because the way to navigate into living things, were making it a little more closer to me. So I was kind of curious to understand the mechanism, to see how living material works. So from that, I acquire knowledge. And as time goes, I realize that I really like to discover what is new, because I want to propose a solution that could help the community. So I have that, and I realize along the way that I need not just equip lab, not just funding for research, but I need determination. I need a little zeal so that I'll be able to achieve what I want to achieve in science. And when I look in Africa in general, in Cameroon particularly, with a lot of natural resources, with a lot of human capital, and this go against with the social economic development of the country, I ask myself, why are things are just like that? And I decided then to be a part of the solution. So I will hope to be able to bring maybe my little son in this vast beach of opportunity that science can offer to give a better future for my country. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bessie. I like what you said. You decided to be part of the solution, and that's very interesting. So along your journey, so can you name some challenges that you faced, if any?
Yes, scientific life or journey is full of challenges. So I can name maybe 4 or 5 of them. The first one is the society's lens, the way the society look at women with a master, with PhD at the level of postdoctoral degree. Sometimes they can just say that, she's not good to have a stable family. She's not good to have a man by her side because she will talk too much. She will try to show that she knows more than the man. And then I address that because I have a very supportive family, especially my dad, who used to tell me that, if what you are doing is good, just do it. So when I have that in my mind, and even during discussion, informal discussion with friends, you just say, you are doing too much school. I just say, my dad is supporting me, and it's the most important. So that society learns to see things sometimes affect people to do a good career in science. The other point I can mention here is the financial independence. When, especially in our context, where we need to have chemical for the lab, good equipped lab to do research. We don't have funding stipend for research. we need to find sometimes parallel job, find part-time job. It was the case for me, find part-time job. And another way is like, once I didn't have that part-time job, my family was supporting me financially. So this helped me to address that financial independence, to be able to be a little more focused in the shares. And luckily, after my master's degree, I was recruited at IMPM, a research institute in Cameroon, that allowed me to, at the same time, doing my research and work. The third point that I can mention is the rigor in the selection process. When I finished my master's degree, my supervisor has a limited number of PhD to recruit. So I was there. There are people that his colleague recommended to him. There are also other students who want to do PhD with him. So the selection was very rigorous for the selection. So what I did was to show that I can do research by being more present in the lab, help when it's needed, try to ask questions, try to propose solutions. I think it's worked in my favor, and also by God's grace, I was selected for my PhD research. The other point that is general, not just for women in science, is the funding, the lack of funding, who delayed the research. It delayed my research for about 4 years, and then I was able to follow training or workshop on how to search funding, how to apply to have a funding, to be able to have some fellowship and some grants for my research. And the third point that I can mention is, when you go abroad for our research, you face diversity is very good. You learn more things, you see different things, and it's really nice. But it has an aspect of challenge also, where it could be language barrier. I remember the first time I went to US, the English. I thought that I know English, but when I arrived there, it was like they were speaking so fast. So I need to tell them each time, please go slowly for me to be able to understand. So language barrier. Sometimes also in terms of collaboration, so it's not like, people are not expecting to open all their arm to you. Sometimes you can feel a sense of discrimination. And sometimes also you need to adapt in their way of doing things, the way they are eating. For example, I am very keen in the way I eat, so I prefer to eat something that I really like. So when you go, for example, abroad in Western world, where they can do meat and fish with sugar, so sometimes to be able to eat it's a kind of, for me, so kind of challenge it, but you need to adapt. Another way, the way to adapt also was in their culture, back home, people like pets, but maybe not as much as they like it. Sometimes they live with pets. You can see someone say, "How are you today?" He say, "Oh, I'm not feeling well." It's just like, for example, Judy is sick. She has surgery. You think that Judy is someone, but by the time you realize it was a dog, and then she feels so painful, and then you need to be like in their shoes to be able to understand that this their way of seeing things, and it's something that speaks to them. So I can say that all those different challenges are things that help me, to forge the person I am today. So I can just say it has also its positive side, because from that I learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prezi. Your experience is really very rich, and I would like to encourage all those who are attending the session to really seize the opportunity to network with you. So this said, I will move to the next panelist. So, Dr. Amel Samo, can you tell us about your experience, please? So why did you choose, what motivated you to choose sciences as a career? And then what are the challenges you may have faced, and how did you overcome them? Hello?
Thank you. Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Christelle, for giving me the floor. As for me, what motivated me to choose a career in science was my first, my chemistry teacher when I was doing my class, the premiere, as we say in the French system. So when I was doing my upper sixth class, the premiere, I had chemistry teacher who was a very young lady who truly inspired me to continue a career in sciences. In fact, she was the first woman I had seen teaching physical sciences and mathematics since I started my high school. So additional to that, she was always very well dressed in a particular style, and I greatly admire her, especially since we do have that negative perception of passion for mathematics and physical science teacher. So from that, I decided that I was going to focus on a path aligned with the chemical sciences. So along the way, I was also fascinated by the way my grandparents used to use plant recipes to solve their health problem. So that's what motivated me to focus my study later on natural product research for drug discovery. So my passion for natural product discovery arose from this curiosity to understand by all these biochemical and chemical process or phenomena, and with an interest in the knowledge of indigenous plants to treating human diseases. So in fact, that was what motivated me to continue my career now in natural product chemistry.
So, did you face some challenges? If yes, can you share them with us, please? And how you overcome? How the plans you put in place to overcome them?
Of course, as women and men, we all face challenges on this journey. The main challenge I faced was firstly the financial constraint and the child responsibility. But luckily, I have a parent who were very supportive, especially my father of blessed memory. He was an engineer, an agronomic engineer, who had this very love for education, and he understood the importance of education. So he always encouraged me, and he was always making sure that I have everything I need to achieve all my educational and professional goals. So whenever I had a conversation with him, he will always give me a piece of advice, who will fire me up. I say, I need to see you live in the next couple of years as an academician, yes, so that his name will always be raised whenever I achieve some of my goals. So he support, and he funded all my study up to the level of doctorate. And even after retirement, he used to take care of my 6 months son for me to take a position of 3 years as postdoctoral in South Africa. So whenever I have to attend a scientific event abroad or some research day abroad, he will be very happy to take care of my children when I'm not around. So I think for me to overcome all these challenges, I have the very great support of my parents, my husband, and my sister, who always assisting me with the childcare responsibility, and my parents who were always assisting me when I need money, or I need money for research or for other purposes. So I think that's how I try to overcome all these challenges to achieve some of my academic and professional goals.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Amel. It's really, really encouraging to hear you people. And we understand that in order to be able to make it in this journey, we really need to have a very supportive system behind us. Otherwise, it might be very difficult to make it. So this said, let me give the floor to Prof. Ngobin. Prof. Ngobin, are you around, please? Can you share your experience with us? What's your motivations and your challenges, if any, and how can you overcome them? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christelle, to the floor. For me, when I was in the secondary school, I was very interested in science, and I wanted to be an engineer like my uncle, who was a computer science. I also want to be a pharmacist. So when I get my A-level, I didn't pass my exam in Polytechnic school, who could help me to be an engineer. And finally, I registered in Faculty of Science. I became more interested in chemistry, and I chose to focalize in the field of chemistry, and after I do my PhD chemistry. I don't know if I can move in French, please.
Yes, feel free, please. I can translate afterwards. It's okay.
Ok, thank you. En fait, pour moi, comme j'ai dit, dans un premier temps, je voulais soit être ingénieur, soit être pharmacien. Mais étant donné qu'à l'époque, on n'avait pas d'école de pharmacie au Cameroun, et mes parents n'avaient pas les moyens de m'envoyer à l'extérieur. Donc du coup, quand j'ai pas eu mon concours pour l'école polytechnique de Yaoundé, je me suis inscrite à l'université, dans la faculté de sciences, exactement en filière PC à l'époque. Donc j'étais intéressée plus par la chimie parce que j'avais de meilleures notes en chimie. Et étant donné que je n'ai pas pu faire pharmacie comme je voulais au départ, je me suis donc intéressée à la chimie des plantes médicinales. Donc c'est pourquoi en PhD, j'ai choisi de faire la chimie organique, et je me suis focalisée sur les plantes médicinales parce que pour moi c'était plus proche de la pharmacie. Je pouvais chercher à découvrir les molécules organiques, les molécules qui sont dans les plantes et qui peuvent aider à résoudre les problèmes comme on le fait au laboratoire. On essaye de rechercher les activités biologiques de ces composés-là dans le but d'aider à chercher leurs activités et pouvoir avoir les molécules d'intérêt biologique qui peuvent servir pour la recherche médicinale. Donc voilà un peu ce qui m'a poussé à m'intéresser à la chimie organique des plantes.
Okay. So our audience would like to know if you faced some challenges as you were journeying in this field.
Yes, of course. I faced a lot of challenge, especially when I started university. It was not in the university environment. So I came from a private school where we had small classes, and in the university we had more than 1,000 students in the amphitheater, and having a seat was a big challenge. sometimes I almost gave up, but I persevered because of my aspiration. I was living away from my family because I live in Douala, and I came to university in Yaoundé. It was not easy for me to take care of me and support my studies. So as Justine say, I sometimes look for part jobs to, I think it's what I can say.
Okay, thank you so much. So what our panelist is saying is that she was encouraged to embrace a scientific career thanks to her uncle, who was an engineer.
Yes.
And so she was interested to pursue either a career in the engineering field or to become a pharmacist. But due to the challenges or like the circumstances of that time, she was not able to make it, and she moved to chemistry and was interested particularly to the field of natural products, where she believed she could meet her dream to intervene in the pharmacy domain. Yeah, and I think all of us heard about the challenges she faced and how she was able to overcome. So this said, I'll give the floor to the next panelist. Linda, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Crystal. I hope this time around you guys are doing very well.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
It's a bit steady. Yeah,
hello?
It's better now. Yeah, it's much more better
hello?
Now. Yes, we can hear you.
Me?
Very well now. Please go ahead.
Much better.
Thank you very much. So really disappointed, and because I don't want to. Well, concerning my motivation, what motivates me actually to choose a career in science, I think I would join Amel and Professor Galvin because my own also came from high school when I was in high school. And actually, I was very passionate about chemistry subject when I was in high school. And I really loved my teacher. It was not a young lady as for Amel, but he was a man. And the way he was explaining chemistry during those days really makes me to be passionate about chemistry. I had also dreams, and I was dreaming that what I was foreseeing to be in the future was either an engineer, or a medical doctor. Medical doctor, why? Because I lost my father's brother, my uncle, who died of cancer. And those days when I was in high school, so I was struggling to understand, there was kind of misunderstanding about that disease, and nobody was giving you at that time the right information. You were just seeing a person that you love dying days by days, and then no explanation, everything. So all they say, okay, I want to be a medical doctor so that I will be able to understand and explain much about this, what is happening around me. So when I got my baccalaureate, I got the baccalaureate C. I said, okay, let me write this concours for the Faculty of Medicine. And those days we were doing some medical testing. So we have to take blood to do blood tests. So when I went to do the blood test, the lady who was in charge wanted to take a sample of my blood, but me, I'm very scared. I'm very scared of needles. So I was fighting with her actually. So she wanted to take my blood, and me, I was reluctant to give her my hand. And at one point she asked me, lady, do you know what are you here for? I said, no, I want to do the test to become a medical doctor. She said, you want to be a medical doctor, and then you cannot even you don't want me to take your blood. You are afraid of needles. I said, it's true, but I really want to be a medical doctor. And she said, how will you manage? I said, I'm sure with time, if I pass the concours, and then I will manage during the training, to get used to it. But finally, I did not even pass the concours for that year. And I decided, okay, I will register at the university. Since I like chemistry a lot, I said, okay, let me go for chemistry and then I will see further. And at the end of the day, I ended up to be not a medical doctor, but a doctor in chemistry. Now, if I want to share with you some challenges, I think Dr. Justine, she went around in all those challenges that we are all facing, but I want to share with you, the first challenge I want to share with you is actually the lack of proper information that we were having those years back. It was not really easy to get proper information about this funding, about this fellowship. Not like these days now, we have many platforms that we can share with these young ladies now, where they can get proper information for this or for that. So those days, the first challenges that actually I faced, it was that, the lack of proper information. Where to get the proper information to get a fellowship, how can you apply, and all those stuff. So the second challenge actually that I faced, it was also the language barrier, because when I finally managed to get LWSD fellowship, I had to travel not to the US like Dr. Justine, but to South Africa. And each country, even though they speak English, the accent is different from which country to the other one. So I also face that issue of language barrier. But the good thing is, for you to overcome it, the only thing for language is just to practice and to persevere. That's the only thing that I was able to do in order to overcome that challenge. So the third one that I want to share with you ladies is actually the life career balance. As those days, a young lady in science who wants to pursue a career in science, do a PhD, at one point you have to take some crucial decisions. You have to take some strong decisions, because you have to face some challenges, and then you have to make some sacrifices in order to attain your goal, to attain your objectives. Okay, let me take my personal example, as we are here to share experiences. So when I finished my PhD and I got that fellowship, it was a sandwich fellowship for 3 years, during 3 years. So for a period of 6 months. So I was going and coming. But at that time, actually, I had my fiance. And my fiance was talking about marriage. And me, I wanted to travel abroad to do my PhD. So at one point, I think the family, as Dr. Justine mentioned, has to come to support actually their loved ones. So it's my father who stood for me, and he told my fiancé, I'm sorry, my daughter needs to finish her PhD to become a doctor before we talk about marriage. Only when she will get her PhD, before then, we will talk about marriage. And that's what happened, actually. So it's very important, because imagine 1 second that I did not get that support. I will have faced to take that decision. What should I do? Should I dump the fiancé and go for my PhD and then come back and then that is already married? Or should I marry and then forget about my goals, my passion, what I want to be? So all those things, you have to take it into consideration. And sometimes you have to take strong decisions. And you have to be focused on your goals and on your objectives. And I would like also to share something with you that can also be a challenge, as Dr. Justine mentioned, the society. I've attended one conference here in Yaoundé, and we're debating actually about these barriers, for girls, women in science. And I was really shocked, because during the panel, we were having some men who are scientists, some men who knows what it takes to be a scientist, what the sacrifices need to be a scientist. And when I was sharing my own experience, and I say, okay, my fiancé has to wait for me for 3 years, they were the first people to shout, That no, we cannot do that. We cannot wait for 3 years a girl to go and do PhD. What? No, we cannot. And I told them, you see, you are in the field. You know what it takes, the sacrifice it takes. But you don't want to. You say you cannot do it. But if you were the man to go abroad to study for 3 years, you were expecting your girlfriend or your fiancé to wait for you. But you cannot take the opposite. That is not fair. So at one point, we are all facing those challenges. At one point, we have to make sacrifices. We have to take strong decisions in our career, in our life. So to conclude, for me, what actually made me to overcome all those challenges during my journey, I was always cheerful and positive. Perseverance. I was always persevering no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges, and I was always staying focused on my goals, on my objectives. So this is how actually I overcome, because challenges will always be around on one way or to the other one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Linda. We are very grateful to listen to each of you. And from your different experiences, I understand that as women, as human beings, we definitely need to have a supportive system. We need to have people that support us. We need to have people that encourage us. We need to have people that tell us that no matter what, we can make it despite the challenges. And yeah, so to all the panelists, I would like to encourage us to identify allies, to identify people that can encourage us. And this issue of language barrier always come back. And I think based on the experience of the different panelists, we understood that that shouldn't be a problem. We need to address it by seeking ways to empower ourselves in such a way that wherever we find ourselves, we are able to communicate with people. And then I think some of the panelists mentioned the fact that they were encouraged, they were motivated by their teachers. So the question what I want to encourage also, we are all here as either as women. I can see some men were able to join us. So we have people that are watching us, we have people that are listening to us, and depending on the way we behave, we may either drive them or we can attract them. So let's watch at the way we behave towards others, because this can be an encouragement for them to join to like to join a certain field or not. So this said, I would like to encourage the attendants. I would like to encourage you to properly write your name, or to fully write your name, as this may be used to issue the certificate of attendance for those who may like to. And then please, if you have a question, also feel free to drop them in the chat, so that at the end of the session we can answer some of them. Thank you very much. So let's move to our next point of the day. So many of the panelists mentioned the fact that they were supported by someone, or they have people that encourage them, like to join science and to choose science as a career of choice. So I would like to throw this other question. So along this journey, did you have people that mentored you? And if it's the case, how did you identify them? And how did they influence your career? So I will throw this question to Amel. Amel, please, can you go ahead? Did you have some mentors that accompany you during this process?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Christelle, for this other question. As for mentorship, I don't think I really have identified one in a formal manner, because for me, I think I was just looking at my parent as a model for me, because at that time I didn't even know what is mentor, what is mentee. For me, what they did was nice for me, and I was trying to follow their path and my dad was always telling us that he is a engineer. It means that he has this master level. So he's challenging us that we need to go lower, not lower, upper than him. So I did not identify a mentor in the formal way. So I was also fortunate to have I can say an exceptional supervisor for my master and doctoral study, who today I can say he played the role of mentor in my academic life. So having my parents as role model and a supportive supervisor during my postgraduate study, I think it really helped me to develop some skills and navigate some challenge. So I think from my parents, I learned how can I say, the spirit of hard working. That principle he always give us to take things positively. I think influenced positively my academic careers. So his example taught me the importance of like perseverance, integrity, and determination. So this support he always give me and the encouragement I always receive from him give me the confidence to pursue my goal and overcome some challenge along the way. I can remember when I was doing my PhD, I think every week he would call me and ask me, how far are you? He wants to understand what I'm doing. Sometimes you are even discouraged, but in the morning we just receive his call. He will ask you, how far are you? What are you doing right now? So, and it's like a kind of motivation I was always receiving from my parents. As for my supervisor, I think he was a kind of highly demanding in terms of result and achievement. I think I got also the spirit of hard working from him, because when I was doing my PhD, at some point I feel like just go back to my house and come back 1 week later. Immediately we will miss you in the lab. The next day we'll just send you a call. I think I give you an exercise. How far are you? Sometimes you don't want even to pick the call, but he will keep insisting. I feel like, let me just do this and go and give this result to this man so that he will. So I will be free from him. So this is where I can say I have a real mentor, because sometimes when you are facing some difficulty, you come talk to him. He will give you some orientation. He will give you guidance. Sometimes he will tell you there is this opportunity. Why can't you apply? Sometimes, and then he was always also available. When you want to write a proposal, he will tell you draft something and we're going to edit. Sometimes he will tell you bring what you have and we see how we can arrange and it will make sense. He will always give you recommendation letter to apply for funding, and I think that helped me to develop also some research skill. And he also provides guidance on careers opportunities and offers support during some challenging time. To conclude, I can say that without even knowing that I was being mentored by some people, I received a mentorship that plays a significant role in shaping my academic and professional trajectory and influencing the direction of my research. So now I think what I learned from that is that as I didn't even know that I was being mentored. I understand the importance of real mentorship, and I think I need to make myself available also to mentor our younger researchers, students, so that we can empower them, so that they can benefit from all the advice, guidance we receive from our mentors. So I think that's what I can say for the mentorship and the influence they had on my academic part.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your experience, Amel. I mean, through your experience, you give us to understand that some people may act as mentors in our lives without us being aware of it. And we just need to be open enough to seize the opportunities that may come towards us through our mentors. So this said, let me give the opportunity to Justine to share her own experience. So, Justine, we would like to know if you had some role models in your life, or some mentors, and how they impact your life. And some of the audience would like, they're interested to know how you identified your mentors, if you have any.
Okay, thank you so much, Christelle. Yes, as female scientists, my journey has so much expectation, like external expectation in terms of society expectation, personal expectation too. But along that, there are people who really inspire me. I start with my family with my parents, very supportive. And then my dad always tell me that if you want to do something, you do it well. So my dad was a model of someone who used to do what he has to do, and he do it very well. He never came late. I'm trying to work that also. And concerning my mom, she say, when you have to do something, do it with your heart. So when I combine all those two, usually when I have to do something, I think about my parent, I just say, okay, do it well and do it with your heart, because you have more impact. Now, out of my family, there are people that I really appreciate the way they impact the society, the way they give advice, the way they have influence, they have wisdom word. So I go to them to have advice. And also there are some that just come to me, and I really appreciate that, to give me advice, people that I really appreciate, that I really respect. So there are also another type of people that I go, I never met them. I follow them online. So I read their articles, I listen to their lecture, their social media platform. They really inspire me by the way of thinking, the way they bring something new, something innovative to address a special issue we face, especially in the African continent. I will not lie you, I like Naledi Pandor. She's actually the Ministry of External Relations in South Africa. She's not, I'm not talking about the political view of it, because she was a woman of science, and during her mandate as Minister of Science, she has bring a lot of change in the science system in South Africa. There are also many people that I cannot list the name, many other people. So what I can advise to someone who is looking for mentor, I just tell to that person to do the exercise I did during one of the workshop in South Africa, Africa Science Leadership Program, that you need to go through your contact. All the person, they told us, go through your contact, all the person you know, you write it somewhere. And then you divide them in 3 parts. First, those who have an informative role in your life. So those who provide sometimes new idea, new insight, Those who have a power roles in your life. It's those who can help you have resources, maybe new opportunities, and those who have a developmental role in your life, help you be a little in balance. They give you a feedback of how you do. Did you do well or not, to have a balance? So once you listed those different categories of people, you realize that there are some people that figure in those 3 categories, and sometimes you don't spend too much time with them, and they recommended us that time to try to take advantage of those type of person. And there are other people that you spend too much time that do not figure even in these 3 categories. It's people that you have to cut the time spending with them because they are wasting your time. They are not helping you to achieve your objective. So what I just recommend is that go through your network. Sometimes you have, like they say, in your garden, sometimes behind the garden, they have very, very precious jewelries behind the garden that we didn't tap into. So tap into your different contact, and then go online and try to see your vision of science. Who represent your vision of science when you go through internet, through social media, when you hear those big women and men speak around the world, and just try to follow them. They will help you increase your way of seeing things. I think that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Very informative what you said, and I hope our audience is taking this. So let me remain with you. My next question for you is if, like, around the journey, you mentioned challenges you faced. So I'm interested to know if you face gender bias and how you overcame this, if it's the case. Ayo, can you hear me?
Is it me or someone else?
No, it's you. I'm
Yes. Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, gender bias. Gender bias is something that it's like not fair. What people still thinking that men are more suitable to do like STEM than women. So they give a reason that men are more stronger. Men are, women, once they will get married, they would have less time. Once they will have children, they need like maternity leaves. But they just undermine the value a woman can bring into science, and then that innovative aspects, that perspective that women can bring, they don't bring it at the table. And then without doing that, we cannot have a very innovative solution when women are not on board. Bias in science exists really. And then recently, there is Prof. Ndonga Christopher told me about Matilda effect. It's the fact that it exists even with Nobel Prize, where prizes where women are contribute and then they are ignored and denied for their contribution. They call it Matilda effect. I heard it recently, so I knew it exists, but I didn't know that it was Matilda effect. And then they talk also about another thing that is Matthew effect. Matthew effect is the fact that when well-established scientists contribute at the same level with younger scientists, we put more established scientists in front of the scene. They have more credit than it. It exists definitely. At my personal level, I didn't really face it directly at my personal level, but I have colleagues who face it, friends who face it. And then the only advice I can give them, being external to that, because I didn't face it directly, is like to value what they have, like their excellences, to value their work, to show that they can do it, and also to be involved, to have a supportive environment, to be involved in maybe organization or professional organization who are advocates for gender equity in science in general. So that's what I can say.
Oh, thank you so much, Christine. Value yourself and don't estimate what you have, because you have a lot to give. Okay, this said, let us hear from Linda. I don't know if you face some gender bias during your journey, and if any, will you share it with us and how you overcame this?
Thank you very much, Christelle. Following what Justine said, sometimes, like I would just say, all of us in the panels, we are working, and sometimes on our job sites, things will happen, and you'll be like, they'll cover it up so that you will not feel like this seems that there is some bias somewhere, you know. People have such funny ways to cover up things. And then at the end you will say,
Hello?
but Ali, I was supposed to do the meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, better now. It's much more better.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think the network is really disturbing.
Yes, please, you can start from the beginning.
Oh, so okay, right. No, I was saying that sometimes in our job sites, we can feel or we can face this gender bias, but sometimes people will just cover it up, you know, in a corny way, such that you will see that this is something that is wrong. But the way they will cover it up, it will not come up openly that this is gender bias. I don't know if you get my point. You can maybe have a class or something, a lecture that you want to do, and you feel like, okay, I can go for it, I can do it, I have all the skills, the expertise to do it. But at the end of the day, somebody will come up, they will say, no, you just leave it to this person, we think that he can do it better, but they know that you have the qualification to do. But the way they will cover it, you just say, okay, you say, okay, it's fine, but you will know, you know, inside that this, I was supposed to do it. I had the qualification even more than the other person. These things does happen. It does happen every day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Job sites. Let me share another example. This one that I actually faced. You know, when I was writing up my my PhD, I used to stay in my supervisor office. You know, students, when you were studying, I was a student, I did not have any office. So when I was writing up, you know, writing your thesis, sometimes it can be a big deal. So you really need a quiet space and stuff like that. So I was using the office to write up my PhD. But people were not happy. Why is that lady staying in that office, you know, writing her PhD thesis? I finished my PhD thesis. I was recruited as a lecturer, and I was still using the same office since I did not yet have my proper office. And the same people were still talking. Why is she still sitting on that chair? They did not take into consideration I'm still waiting to get my own office. But they were talking. What is that lady doing there? Why is he using that office? Why? I think at one point I started panicking, and it was so embarrassing. I did not have the opportunity to share about the role models. This is why one of my role models entered in action. One of the colleagues. So I had to call her and I was begging her, please, since you are not longer around much, you know, because she's appointed somewhere, can I please have the key of your office? Because I want to go and sit there when you are not there to do my work. She said, what happened to where you used to stay before? I said, no, I can no longer stay there. Because since I'm sharing, you know, the office, you know, with my supervisor, people are talking too much, people are complaining, people are saying funny things. And she said, oh, that's the reason you want to leave, to come to my office. So you think that when you will come to my office, they will stop talking? No, my dear. As a young lady, there are things that you need to learn. In life, you will always face challenges. The most important is to know who you are. If people are pointing you, complaining about this thing, if you know by yourself that you should not do anything of those things, just stay quiet and you will stay there. And what really makes me to feel more relief and comfortable is that she came one day when we have, she say, when should we come on? We will have one of our departmental meetings. She will stand in front of our HOD and actually speak about it, that people should stop. Young ladies, because at that time we were still young, very young. Young ladies in the department, they need support. They don't need people to come and destroy them and push them away from the department. Unless you provide an office for her, she will stay where she is. So you see, lady, this is just an example, for other barriers that you can face because you are a woman at your job place, or you want to mention as I said, because you are doing STEM, there are other barriers. So I just wanted to share with you what really happened, something that I've faced. And some other women are actually facing other barriers. And sometimes it's very difficult to open up, and to say it loudly. Some other people will just take it, and then they will just keep it for themselves and look for a way to overcome it. But sometimes you need to speak it loudly, to denounce it, so that some other people will learn from it and see how to manage them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your experience. I like the way you took it. We need to denounce. And as long as we denounce, we will definitely get support from people around us. Because I strongly believe this is something many of us face day by day, and we don't even know how to deal with it. And as long as we don't deal with it, it will always come back and become a burden, become something that can drive us from our goals. So this said, I'll move to the next panelist. Josephine, I'm coming back to you. So this time, I would like to, I'm interested to know how you think we can increase the diversity in science so that we can impact the future of research and innovation, especially in Cameroon, where we still have women lagging behind in science.
Okay. Thank you, Thank you, Christelle, for giving me the floor again. For me, I think women and men have different sensitivities. I believe the more there will be women, the more they could use their critical views to better make aspects of research. I think that their unique perspective will help advance many projects and foster detail-oriented researchers. And I think that diversity should be up to the decision-making level. As women with their leadership, they could input, will certainly influence decisions that will have otherwise not been taken into account. So for me, at the conclusion, women can solve critical problems where men are not able to do that. For example, women have the head on the hands. I don't know what you understand what I try to explain. They are not flexible or more rigid than men, and they can encourage and understand understand.
Hello.
Yes.
I think
did you hear me?
No, I didn't. We didn't hear you. We lost you at some point.
So I don't know if it's the network. Did you hear me?
Just the last phrase, I think so.
Now do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Okay. let me. I said that for me, women and men have different sensibilities and perspective. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I believe that the more there will be women, the more they will use. Women could use their critical views to better aspect of research. I think men and women are different emotionally. So women can solve critical problems where men are not able to do that. I think that women also can understand better the problem of women, maybe when we are in the research group, than men can do it. And I think that as women have the head on the hands, I don't know if you understand what I try to explain. They are not flexible. Okay, they are not flexible or more rigid than men, and they can help to solve some research problem that men cannot able to. For me, diversity should be up to the decision-making level. As if we have more women in the I say that
on the top.
Si nous avons les femmes, je vais dire en français, lorsque nous avons des femmes à un niveau stratégique, ces femmes peuvent influencer certaines décisions. Étant donné que la femme est la mère de l'humanité, ses émotions peuvent jouer par rapport aux hommes qui sont souvent très rigides et qui sont souvent très rigides. Je vais prendre par exemple, un exemple. J'ai assisté une fois à une réunion où on parlait où il fallait une réunion scientifique, une réunion d'experts qui sur la loi sur l'insémination artificielle. La loi sur l'insémination artificielle. Donc, il fallait, au niveau de la femme, il fallait limiter l'âge. Il fallait limiter l'âge pour les femmes d'avoir accès à la procréation médicalement assistée. Il y avait des femmes, il y avait des hommes. Par rapport à la femme, nous avons décidé que étant donné que l'âge normal pour la femme, déjà l'âge biologique, c'est autour de 50 ans. Nous avons proposé que les femmes peuvent accéder à la PMA jusqu'à 55 ans. Mais quand il fallait maintenant voir par rapport à l'âge des hommes, qui étaient dans la réunion, tous étaient d'accord qu'il ne faut pas limiter l'âge de l'homme. Parce que pour eux, l'homme peut avoir des enfants à tout âge. Or, les femmes militaient à cette réunion pour dire que c'est vrai, l'homme peut avoir peut-être, même si ce n'est pas médicalement prouvé, l'homme peut avoir les enfants à tout âge. Mais c'est aussi important de limiter l'âge de l'homme parce que je prends par exemple un exemple, si un homme a un enfant à 80 ans, il n'aura pas la possibilité de l'élever, le temps de l'élever, et il va laisser certainement un orphelin qui va errer et tout, qui n'aura pas un meilleur avenir. Donc nous avons, les femmes ont pesé de leur poids pour amener les hommes à comprendre que l'âge, il faut également limiter l'âge des hommes pour avoir accès à être donneur, pour avoir accès à la PMA. Et c'est ainsi donc que la décision, ils nous ont donné raison et on a limité l'âge, si je me rappelle bien, à 75 ou à 70 ans pour l'homme, ou 75 ans si je ne me trompe pas. Donc c'est pour dire que lorsque les femmes sont également dans des instances de décision, à mieux comprendre certains aspects que, de par leur rigidité et tout, ils n'arrivent pas à comprendre. Et donc, c'est pour ça que c'est important pour moi d'augmenter la diversité au niveau de la recherche et au niveau de la recherche. Parce que les femmes également sont importantes pour, plus on a les femmes, plus on est mieux représenté, mieux on peut adresser nos problèmes et nos problèmes. Je voudrais aussi dire que les femmes, dans un groupe de recherche, les femmes encouragent mieux les autres femmes à faire la recherche par rapport aux hommes. J'ai par exemple des collègues qui, quand il faut sélectionner les jeunes chercheurs, certains collègues hommes disent ils n'aiment pas prendre les femmes parce que...
Allô?
Allô? Oui.
Yeah. Ok, on t'écoute à présent.
Ah, d'accord. Alors, je comprends pas. Peut-être le net n'est pas stable. C'est bon?
Oui, c'est bon maintenant, on t'écoute mieux, on t'entend mieux.
Ok. Donc, je disais, plus on a des femmes dans le milieu de la... Comment comprendre les problèmes de la femme. Je disais par exemple que quand on est dans un groupe de recherche, j'ai par exemple mes collègues qui des fois n'aiment pas donner la chance à des femmes qui veulent s'inscrire en PhD. Parce que pour eux, ils se disent, ces femmes vont passent leur temps à faire des maternités et tout et ne travaillent pas suffisamment. Donc voilà un peu pour moi l'aspect que je voulais aborder pour mieux étayer l'importance d'avoir une diversité même dans les domaines de la science et de la recherche.
Okay, thank you very much, Josephine. So what she's trying to say to our audience that does not understand French, so she's trying to say that women have a lot to bring at the table, and that's why we need to have women at a high position level so that they can be able to carry the voice of other women, because as women, they have been there, they understand the challenges, they know what challenges women are going through, and decisions that are usually taken, I mean, by most of the time by men, do not take into consideration the challenges or the situations that women can face. So having more women in such position can definitely help to impact the future of research. And she took an example where they were to take a decision about how to assist women, or let's say people in general, those who are not able to reproduce themselves naturally. So some men were not agreeing that the age should be increased for women, and we all know that reproduction it's for men it's a process that endures the whole of their lives. While for women, usually around 50 or 55, or maybe to 60 for some, they can still reproduce themselves. And because of the challenges women face nowadays, some may find themselves around 40 without having the possibility to have children, because they are focused on career and so on. So we definitely, from her perspective, we definitely need to have more women in position. We need to increase the number of women. We need to diversify this field so that we can have women's perspective that take into consideration other women. So thank you so much for sharing on this. So let's move to another panelist. Amel, I'm coming back to you. Can you tell us, as a woman in science, with all the challenges you have gone through, with all the strategies that you put in place, to make it despite the challenges. What advice can you provide to young girls or to women in this attending this meeting that are aspiring to a career in STEM? What advice? And maybe for the younger ones, and even for those who have been able to get maybe at a later point in their life, what advice can you provide to them?
Okay.
Amel, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, you have the floor, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. We can hear you very well.
Okay. Thank you for the question. As advice that I can provide to young girls and women aspiring to pursue a career in STEM, the first one I can say is that we should embrace our career with passion. So whether you choose to continue your study either in chemistry, biochemistry, find what you love and do it with enthusiasm and determination. The second advice I can give is to believe in yourself. So don't let the different gender bias, societal expectation, and how do I say, data from your dream. So you have to believe in your ability and know that you have a potential to succeed in any STEM field you choose. The third advice I can give is to seek out for role model, because as women we all face similar challenges. So when you look for a woman who have experience, you can learn from her experience, so you can be inspired and guided by the experienced women who have succeeded in their career, and it can help you navigate your own path. The other advice I can give is to build a strong foundation. How? You can focus on developing a solid understanding on the fundamental concept in your discipline. You can take advantage of resources, attend workshop, mentorship program to strengthen your skill and improve your capacity and knowledge. The fifth one is don't be afraid of failure. Failure is, for me, is a natural part of the learning process. So if instead of being discouraged after the first failure, I think you can just learn from that and take opportunity to grow and learn more. So I think they need to be very perseverant in the face of any challenge. The other advice I can give is to explore different opportunities. There are opportunities sometimes we don't have access due to the lack of information, so you have to go and look for the information. So we have a STEM, I can say, it's a vast and diverse field with countless opportunities. So you need to take time, you need to read, you need to explore different areas of interest. Yeah, and don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. As Justin and Linda said, sometimes language barrier is a challenge for all of us, and even for our students and colleagues to apply sometime for opportunity, because most of them are in English. So don't be afraid of language we learn it throughout the process. The also piece of advice I can give is to develop strong communication skills. So in addition to the technical expertise we all have in our various fields, effective communication skills are also very essential for success in skills. So just practices at different articulation of your idea, both verbally and in writing. And you can also be open to other, which those can help you to increase or empower yourself in terms of this communication and writing skills. They need also to be persistent, because achieving success in STEM often require perseverance and determination. I think the last one I can say is that we need to support other women. So we need to lift up and support other women in STEM whenever you can. So I always say sometimes we need to be women conscious. When we are at a table or when we are a meeting taking decision about like.
Thank you very much. So, as my opinion, I think individually we need to make kind of sensitization around us, because all of us can be a kind of promoter for this issue. All of us, we have to make our own part, play our role. Now, we cannot only do it individually. No matter, all the goodwill you have, you also need support. Because you can have ideas to promote, you can have valuable, good ideas, but you need support from other people, stakeholders, your institution, to actually help you to implement, so that we can see the impact actually. So what I will actually request from the institutions, I think from there we need more valorization and also implementation. They can do it by, let's say, supporting already the existing associations who are actually fighting to advocate for the promotion of girls in STEM city. What I mean, if I can maybe take an example, there is different NGOs or associations who are actually try to promote, valorize diversity in STEM field. Let me take the example, for example, for this Cameroon Academy of Young Scientists, in which we are all fellows. We are doing our own job individually. So the association is also trying on its own way to promote STEM in the field. So if they have support of their institution, they can have bigger impacts, Let me take the example of OWSD, where are very active, and then where I can really say something more, because I'm a new fellow of the Cameroon Academy for Young Scientists. If I take the example, for example, of OWSD, the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, the activity that they are undertaking in the country, actually, all the workshops that are being organized, to synthesize the women in science, to show them, let me just take some few examples, to show them, for example, how to write a good CV. When you want to go for a fellowship, how can you look for a scholarship? What are the requirements? How can you manage? How can you handle? All those things are there for what? To strengthen their capacity building, either in academia, in research, in leadership, which is very important. So we are able to achieve this because we, as individuals, but also as institutions. You, Christelle, as the regional coordinator there in the North, you have been organizing a lot of workshops, going to the field to meet these young girls from primary school, to discuss with them, encourage them to pursue their career in the STEM field, talk about diversity. All those things is very important. But we both know that you need support. You cannot do all those things without support of maybe your institution or other institutions or associations. So all of this is very important. All of us, we have a role to play, and we really have to take it seriously, because there are many challenges that have to be faced, many challenges that have to be overcome. The impacts of what we are doing need to be seen in the future. So I will conclude by saying that if we actually encourage more and we promote more the girl in STEM, more diversity, by making more programs, for example, in strengthening their capacity building, leadership, research, and so on and so forth, more mentorship programs, and so on and so forth, I think at the end of the day, we'll come out with more cheerful women as future role models, more brilliant women involved in capacity building, leadership for the development of their countries, the respective countries. I don't only want to take the example of Cameroon. They will also have more women involved in the STEM, regardless their culture or their religion, because we all know that these two also can be some barriers in some cases. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing, Linda. The more we empower, the more we empower young girls, the more we increase the number of women, the more we have diversity. That's very important. And I won't take much time. I will allow the next panelist. Justine, can you share your point of view with us on this question? How do you think diversity can be promoted personally and even at nationally, at the national level?
Okay, thank you so much, Christelle. Like when I was hearing Linda talking, I would just say, "Oh, she's just she was reading what was in my mind." So she said it so well. Like, to promote it, we need advocacy. Like, we need to have a supportive environment. We need to celebrate diversity as we are doing here for this webinar. Just maybe allow me to just go back a little to the question we do before, because I don't want to come again with what Linda has said so well. Talk about advice we can give to young girl in science or to female in science. I may say it very well. I just want to highlight the fact that maybe amongst us there are those who are just have their master's degree. They are very earlier career researcher. I say very early in their career. So I would just want them to always have in mind, like, what is the vision? What did I want to accomplish? What did I want to achieve? What is my vision? When they ask that question, they will start then follow that path by using their curiosity mind to try to find something new in the domain. When you say I usually take the example of that workshop I did in South Africa, African Science Leadership Program, where they say it's try to vision yourself like in maybe 50 years. if they have to talk about you in a newspaper, you have picture there. What do you want them to put there? So consider it like what you want to achieve, and what you want to achieve. Then ask you some question like, how did I do that? What is my strength? What are my strengths? What are my weakness? And then try to if it is weakness is like lack of funding, lack of training, lack of mentor, you try to develop that and know that you are going somewhere. And along the line, all you have in mind, like, it's not a must to have an accomplishment. Like what you said maybe 10 years before, you say, if you are still struggling, you say, I really need to do it because 10 years ago I planned it. No, you can switch along the line. The most important thing is that you are happy. And it's also like a prof say one day that it's also okay to not accomplish. You are not like, I must absolutely do it, like whatever. You set the goal, you follow the goal by the way you feel that you can take a rest. You take a rest and then you continue. So I saw a question in chat where someone said at 50, I have 50 years old. I just finished my PhD, something like that. I'm challenging to have a job or a career. So which type of career do you want to have? Is it a specific city, a specific institution, or do you want to have an impact as a researcher? Then what are the options? If this don't work, what are the options? Don't take the age as a barrier, like I'm too old, I can't do this. No. It's not like there's no age to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So it just few note that I want to point in the advice to give to young scientists.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Justine. Thank you very much. I like the way you took it. Okay, let's move to the next panelist. Josephine, are you around? Can you share your point of view with us on this question, please?
Yes. Yes, Christelle, did you hear me? I'm not
yes,
sure that.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. To promote women in the STEM field, on the individual level, I think that women in STEM can encourage young girls to embrace STEM-related fields, and Justine and Linda also say a lot of things. I think we should organize workshops to help young girls understand what the STEM is and how rewarding a career in STEM can be. For the institutional level, I think policymakers should support girls who do the STEM by giving them scholarship, and also they could reduce gender gap by recruit a lot more women in the university or research institute. I think that's what I can add.
Okay, thank you very much. And before I move to Amel, I would like to seize this opportunity. So the previous panelist mentioned the fact that we need to seize opportunities. We need, to empower women. And how do you empower yourself if you don't know to whom to turn to when you have such challenge, and even how to seize opportunities? So I would like to seize this opportunity to let all of us know. So some of you may be on the platform already and others not. So we have a platform. I think Linda mentioned it's the Organization for Women in Science from the developing world, the Cameroon chapter, which is known as the OWSD. So if any of you is interested to join the platform, you feel free to send me a mail So I will share my WhatsApp number on the platform. And if you would like to be added on the platform, simply let me know. So on that platform, as she said already, we share opportunities and then we mentor one another. We have workshops through which we share topics, and we also see sometimes we take time to go to high school, primary school, to high schools, to talk to young girls and let them know what are the benefits of embracing a career in science. And doing that way, we strongly believe that we will increase the number of women in science. And if we say increasing the number of women in science means increasing the number of increasing diversity. And in that way, we think diversity would be, we have more women and we have many points of view to share on different topics. So let's move to Amel. Ahmed, what do you say on this, please?
As the other panelists mentioned, I think promoting diversity in STEM require individual and institutional effort to address barriers and create an inclusive environment for women in science. So I think the other panelists have elaborated so well on the action that can be taken at both individual and institutional level. So what I can add at the institutional level is that our institution need to support diversity in leadership. So we need to promote this diversity in leadership position within our institution, our research teams, and so on, so that we recruiting and we supporting women from underrepresented group for leadership roles and provide them with opportunity for professional development. We need also to foster an inclusive environment and implement policies that promote diversity. I think the last thing I can mention about that, at least is to have statistics. We should collect and analyze demographic data on representation and retention rate of women and underrepresented minorities in STEM field. So from those data, we can identify the area where we need more improvement, and therefore we can track the progress over time, because we always do women in sciences. If we ask, like, what are the numbers, what are the statistics of the representation of women either in our institution or in our work environment, we will not have something on the table. So by taking all these actions that I've mentioned and that the previous panelists have elaborated on, we can together create a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive STEM community that can benefit every one of us. So, thank you, Christelle.
Okay, thank you so much, Ahmed, for sharing. I think we will now open the floor for questions. And if you have any question, please feel free. At the moment, I have Prof. Marceline with her hand raised. Prof. Marceline, please, you have the floor. Prof. Marceline?
Thank you very much, Christelle, for giving me the floor. So my contribution is a comment and an advice. I would first of all like to congratulate the organizers for this wonderful initiative. I think and I hope women in this forum have learned a lot from your various intervention, advice, and so on. There is no to step with the career. There's no age. The most important thing is the motivation. And then I think that those who are just master holders or fresh PhD holders must seize this opportunity to really advance in their career. No matter your age, the most important thing is your motivation. You should be ready with your CV, your resume, your motivation. Identify your potential mentors and submit your request. I think there are many potential mentors in this forum, starting by the panelists and those senior scientists I can see in the forum. So it is important to identify the mentor and submit the request. I would like to share my experience with you. Now I'm very interested with the L'Oreal, Oates, and even the DWAS fellowship, but I'm no longer eligible. Why I'm no longer eligible? Because my PhD is 15 years old. So even the postdoc with possibility for women with children to have more time, I'm no longer eligible for that one. So the only fellowships, scholarships, and grants I can now apply for are the senior ones. And you know that it is very difficult to get the senior fellowships and scholarships and grants, you see. That's why I really wanted to motivate those who are PhD, fresh PhD holders or master holders to seize the opportunity, because there are so many opportunities. Fortunately, I already had my postdoc, now to get some senior grant. That's the contribution I wanted to make. Sorry, my name is Marceline Jude. I'm associate professor at the University of Yaoundé 1 at the Department of Biochemistry. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Prof. Marceline. And yeah, you too, you are a role model. You're a role model and you're a mentor with whom many people would like to connect. So I would like to encourage the audience to seize this opportunity, as she said, to connect with any of these people. And I promise that you'll never regret to have made that decision. Yes. Please, the floor is open. If someone has a question, please, you can simply raise your hand and I will identify you and give you the floor. Otherwise, you can also send your question through the chat.
I think Linda has her hand up.
Okay, Linda, please, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Crystal. Thank you, Professor Marceline. I just wanted to mention something about what Professor Marceline just said. I think it's really good to make the young female scientists aware that they have opportunities. It's no longer like those days where information we could not get. Now they have many opportunities, so they have to really stand for that. So what I wanted to add to what she said is that there are some scholarships outside there who actually are taking into consideration the fact that as a woman in science, sometimes you have to take breaks, for maternity. There are programs like OWSD, for example. When you want to apply for it, they really encourage even women who actually took some maternity leaves and who are willing to come back to continue with their PhD, to pursue their PhD. They're encouraging them to apply. And there are some other programs for that PhD when they will say your PhD should not be older than 50 years. And then they will say, okay, they can take maternity leave break as 1 year. So you just count the number of children that you have, and then you deduct from the number of years of your PhD to see if you are still eligible. It's just to say that those people out there, those funders and funding agencies, they know well just that women sign, and they really look the way to.
Yes, I'm Prof. Marguerite Témonier. Yes, from the University of Yaoundé 1. Yes, I really congratulate all the organizers and all the panelists for this nice topic. And I really admire the challenges and the difficulty women went through. And as Prof. Jude was saying, and as all the panelists said, we need support, you need mentor. And for the funds, as Prof. Jude said, I don't know whether they are going to call it later career scientists, because they are talking about young career scientists. But for us who are more than 50, we are already all career scientists. And by considering all the difficulties women went through, and at our time there was no all this discussion helping women, because we were just going step by step by our own means. Can we, since this one is a global, because when I saw the title, it's a global, maybe it's a global meeting. Can you intervene through your different organizers to take into consideration those difficulties and still allow fundings to all career scientists who would like to continue? Because to mentor, as many of us say, you have to be in the campus, you have to be working, you know that all of us don't have any opportunities or any finance means to continue research. We are all going through by our own means, and it's so sometimes more difficult, even when we want to supervise a student like that. It's sometimes very difficult for those who don't have any means. And if there were maybe some foundings, we could have, at least guide one or two or many other women who would like to go in the STEM career. So that is my preoccupation, and thank you very much for that lovely meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Marguerite. I think I will say something on this point. Yes, you got it right. It's a global event, which means that everywhere around the world today, this event is also celebrated. And why is it celebrated? It's celebrated because of these challenges that women face. And so the conveners of the event thought it was a great opportunity to stop at some point and to celebrate the achievement women have had, to share their experience, to share their challenges, so that they can encourage others, so that they can motivate others. So as per the question you asked regarding the funding, what I can say is that it's not always easy to give money to people, and that's why we need to have more women at the highest level, so that decisions that are made also take into consideration the fact that women are different at different career levels, and may not are not opportune to have some of these fellowships can help them to move forward. And another thing I would like to see, let's say at the senior level, if you don't have, maybe if you are limited by the age of your PhD or by your age, I strongly believe that you have students, be it male or female, that you supervise. So there are so many opportunities out there which these young people can seize, and that will also help you to bring funding into your team, or to give them the opportunity to travel. And as far as I know, I think TWAS also give opportunity to people to apply for funding. So what you need to do, you need to be the principal investigator and then present a project with your team. And you, as the head of the team, you carry the project and you put those students behind you, and you make sure that you prepare a strong application. I believe that can also help you to have more funding. That's why I would like to seize this opportunity to encourage all of us. We would like to see change around us. Let us be the change we want to see. And as one of the panelists said earlier, let us choose to be part of the solution. So how do we become part of the solution? By posing the different action I just mentioned, by supporting one another. You want to have a mentor? Be a mentor. You can be a mentor at the same time you are a mentee. So identify the potential people that can be your mentors, and also be open to welcome the younger people that come to you who have identified you as a mentor. And then I think it's also time for women to stop fighting another ones. I think one of the panelists mentioned that they mentioned the fact that women should be very supportive. They should support one another. They should stop fighting themselves. Because if we spend the time we spend fighting ourselves, that's the time that could be used like to do great things, to collaborate, to establish collaborations, fruitful collaborations that can help all of us. So it's time to stop fighting. It's time to start encouraging one another. It's time to network with one another. So let us get out of our comfort zone. So if I'm a chemist and I know that in my work I need a biologist to work with, I need to step out of my comfort zone to connect with those people and to seize opportunities. So to the best of my knowledge, OWSD to date is the largest organization that gather women scientists in Cameroon. So that is a platform where you can get opportunities. That is a platform where you can network with people. That is the platform where you can share opportunities. So if you have opportunities, share it with others. Don't keep it to yourself, because that opportunity that you are keeping, maybe that's the opportunity that could change someone's life out there. We never know. So let us be the change we want to see. We want mentors. Let's be mentors. So yeah, that's what I could add on this. Thank you very much. So let me see if there's another question in the chat. Please, if you have a question, if you have another question, as we are running out of time, if you have another question or a comment or a suggestion, please feel free to raise your hand and I will identify you. Okay, if there's no other question, I think we're going to stop here. And I would like to thank each and everyone for making this event possible. Thank you very much for attending. And if you came late and if you would like to have a yes, please.
Yes, please. Can you ask to people to open their camera so that we can have a good picture while you are talking?
Okay. I personally cannot. My phone doesn't. I've changed my phone. It doesn't allow me to open my camera. So unfortunately, I'll just be there like this. But those who can, please, if you are comfortable opening your camera, please feel free to open it so we can have a good picture. Thank you very much.
You can go ahead, Christelle.
Okay. Thank you so much, Christine. And yeah, thank you very much. So, well, let me conclude now. So I would like to thank you all for making this possible. Thank you to all the panelists for sharing your different experiences. And, I'm sure that women will leave this platform being very encouraged, to seize opportunities, to empower themselves, to network with others, and to be the change they want to see. So thank you so much for making it, and we look forward to another event, to another workshop. And yeah, so I put my WhatsApp number in the chat. If you would like to be added to the WhatsApp group of the OWSD Cameroon, please feel free to contact me and I will do so. And if you also have students, at the master level, from master level and up from upward, if you would like them to be added on the platform, you are also free to let me know so that I will add them. Because as one of the panelists, as one of the speaker said, these are the opportunities we didn't have in those days. But nowadays we have so many opportunities out there, and the information is there. We just need to identify where to get the information. So feel free to contact me if you have a colleague, if you have a student that would like to be added, so that they can be exposed to all of these opportunities, and that can really help them to make their career easier. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having you for another workshop. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.